I'm so busy. I barely slept last night. I worked all weekend. We wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. We brag about how many hours we worked, how many meetings we took, how little sleep we got. We've been conditioned to believe that busy equals successful. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Being busy doesn't mean you're being productive. It just means you're busy. The hustle culture sold us a lie. It told us that if we're not grinding 24/7, we're lazy. If we're not exhausted, we're not trying hard enough. But the richest, most successful people aren't the busiest. They're the most strategic. Today, I'm going to dismantle the myth of busyness and show you why doing less is actually the key to achieving more. Let's get into it. The busy trap. Let's start with a hard question. Are you actually accomplishing things? Or are you just moving fast? Because there's a massive difference between activity and achievement. You can spend 12 hours a day answering emails, attending meetings, putting out fires, and checking off small tasks. At the end of the day, you feel exhausted. You feel like you worked hard. But what did you actually accomplish? Did you move your business forward? Did you generate revenue? Did you create something valuable? Or did you just stay busy? Most people confuse motion with progress. They think that as long as they're doing something, they're moving forward. But busyness is often just a distraction from what actually matters. It's a way to feel productive without actually being productive. Here's the brutal truth. If you're constantly busy but not seeing results, you're not working hard. You're working wrong. You're majoring in minor things. You're spending your time on tasks that feel urgent but aren't important. And the worst part? You're too busy to realize it. Why we glorify busyness. So why do we do this? Why do we glorify being busy? There are three main reasons. Reason one. Society rewards it. We've been taught from a young age that hard work equals success. The harder you work, the more successful you'll be. So we internalize the idea that working long hours, sacrificing sleep, and being constantly busy is noble. It's not. It's just outdated thinking. Reason two. Busyness feels like progress. When you're busy, you feel like you're doing something. You feel productive. You can tell yourself, I worked so hard today. But feeling productive and being productive are not the same thing. Busyness gives you the illusion of progress without requiring you to measure actual results. Reason three. It's easier than being strategic. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Being busy is easier than being intentional. It's easier to say yes to every meeting than to say no and protect your time. It's easier to react to whatever comes your way than to plan your priorities. It's easier to stay in motion than to pause and ask, am I doing the right things? Busyness is a form of laziness. It lets you avoid the hard work of thinking critically about what actually matters. The cost of busyness. Let's talk about what busyness is actually costing you, because the price is higher than you think. Cost one, your health. Chronic busyness leads to burnout. It destroys your sleep, wrecks your mental health, and deteriorates your physical well-being. You can't sustain high performance when you're running on fumes. Your body isn't designed for constant stress. Eventually, it breaks down. Cost two, your relationships. When you're always busy, the people you care about get the leftovers. You're too tired to be present, too distracted to connect, too drained to show up fully. And over time, those relationships suffer. No amount of success is worth losing the people who matter most. Cost three, your actual productivity. Here's the irony. The busier you are, the less productive you become. When you're constantly rushing from one task to another, you never get into deep work. You're always in reactive mode, never in creative mode. You're putting out fires instead of building something meaningful. Cost four, your clarity. Busyness clouds your judgment. When you're moving too fast, you don't have time to think strategically. You don't have space to evaluate what's working and what's not. You're just surviving, not thriving. And here's the biggest cost: opportunity cost. Every hour you spend on low-value busyness is an hour you're not spending on high-value work that actually moves the needle. You're trading your most precious resource, time, for the illusion of productivity. Busy versus productive, the difference. Let's draw a clear line between being busy and being productive. Busy people have full calendars. Productive people have clear priorities. Busy people say yes to everything. Productive people say no to almost everything. Busy people work all the time. Productive people work strategically. Busy people respond to every email immediately. Productive people batch emails and respond once or twice a day. Busy people attend every meeting. Productive people decline meetings that don't serve a clear purpose. Busy people measure success by hours worked. Productive people measure success by results achieved. Busy people are always in motion. Productive people pause, plan, and execute with intention. Here's a simple test. At the end of your day, can you name the 1 or 2 big things you accomplished? If you can, you were productive. If you can't, if all you remember is a blur of tasks and meetings, you were just busy. The Pareto Principle, 80-20 Rule. Let me introduce you to the concept that will change how you work forever. The Pareto Principle, also known as the 80-20 Rule. It states that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. That means most of what you do has little impact. Only a small fraction of your activities actually drive meaningful results. Think about your business. 80% of your revenue probably comes from 20% of your customers. 80% of your growth comes from 20% of your marketing efforts. 80% of your problems come from 20% of your processes. So why are you spending equal time on everything? Why are you treating all tasks as equally important when they're clearly not? The secret to productivity isn't doing more. It's doing less, but doing the right things. Identify your 20%, the tasks that actually move the needle, the activities that generate revenue, build your brand, or create long-term value. Focus on those. Eliminate or delegate everything else. Warren Buffett has a famous strategy. He tells people to write down their top 25 goals, then circle the top 5. Those 5 are your priorities. The other 20? Avoid them at all costs. They're distractions disguised as opportunities. How to escape the busyness trap. So how do you actually escape the busyness trap? Here's your action plan. Step 1. Audit your time. Track everything you do for 1 week. Every task, every meeting, every email. At the end of the week, categorize each activity. High impact, medium impact, or low impact. You'll be shocked at how much time you waste on low-impact busyness. Step 2. Eliminate ruthlessly. Look at your low-impact activities and ask, what happens if I stop doing this? If the answer is nothing, eliminate it. Cancel recurring meetings that don't add value. Stop checking email 50 times a day. Unsubscribe from distractions. Step 3. Protect your deep work time. Block out 2 to 4 hours every day for focused, uninterrupted work on your highest priority tasks. No meetings, no emails, no distractions. This is your sacred time for creating value. Step 4. Learn to say no. This is the hardest but most important skill. Every time someone asks for your time, pause and ask yourself, does this align with my top priorities? If not, say no, politely but firmly. Your time is your most valuable asset. Guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. Step 5. Measure results, not hours. Stop tracking how many hours you worked and start tracking what you accomplished. Did you close a deal? Did you create a valuable asset? Did you solve a major problem? That's what matters, not how long you sat at your desk. The rest and recovery myth. Here's something nobody talks about. Rest isn't a reward for hard work. It's a requirement for high performance. The most successful people aren't grinding non-stop. They're strategic about rest. They sleep 8 hours. They take breaks. They go on vacations. They understand that recovery is when growth happens. Your brain needs downtime to process information, make connections, and come up with creative solutions. Your body needs rest to repair and recharge. When you're constantly busy, you're running on autopilot. You're not thinking clearly. You're not performing at your best. So stop glorifying all-nighters and burnout. Start glorifying sleep, recovery, and strategic rest. The best ideas don't come when you're grinding. They come when you're rested, relaxed, and have space to think. What success actually looks like. Let me paint you a different picture of success. It's not the entrepreneur who works 100 hours a week. It's the one who works 20 hours on the right things and spends the rest of their time living their life. It's not the person who's always in meetings. It's the person who has time to think, strategize, and make high-level decisions. It's not the person who's constantly exhausted. It's the person who's energized, focused, and intentional. Real success is having the time and energy to enjoy what you've built. It's being present with your family. It's pursuing hobbies. It's having mental space to be creative. It's freedom. Not just financial freedom, but time freedom and mental freedom. And here's the kicker. When you stop glorifying busyness and start prioritizing what actually matters, you don't just feel better. You actually achieve more. You get better results with less effort because you're finally working on the right things. Here's the bottom line. Being busy is not a virtue. It's a trap. It's a way to feel productive without actually being productive. And it's costing you your health, your relationships, and your real success. So stop bragging about how busy you are. Stop wearing exhaustion like a badge of honor. Stop confusing motion with progress. Start being intentional. Start doing less but better. Start protecting your time like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. The goal isn't to do more. It's to do what matters. And when you focus on that, everything changes. If this message resonated with you, hit that like button, share this with every overworked entrepreneur you know, and subscribe to Finance 0.1 for more no-nonsense strategies on building wealth, freedom, and a life that doesn't require you to sacrifice everything. Now go reclaim your time and stop glorifying being busy.